African fathers have a reputation for delivering what is often called the "my house, my rules" speech. This phrase has become almost a cliché in many African households, but its deeper meaning resonates with cultural values, expectations, and parental authority. It's a phrase that carries weight and authority, often associated with discipline, respect, and the transmission of moral values from one generation to the next. The origins of the "my house, my rules" speech. The "my house, my rules" speech has its roots in the patriarchal structures that are prominent in many African cultures. Traditionally, African societies have been organized around extended families, with the father as the head of the household. This hierarchy places the father at the center of family decisions and the enforcer of rules. It is not just a statement of authority, but a reflection of how children were raised within these cultural norms. The idea is that the house is the father's domain, and as such, he is the one responsible for setting the standards. While other family members, including the mother, may have input, the father's word often carries the final say. This is not to say that African fathers are the sole decision makers in every context, but traditionally, the father is seen as the authority figure within the home. The saying itself serves as a reminder to children that the home is a place where respect for authority and adherence to rules are essential. In some cases, the speech is delivered when the child has overstepped boundaries, questioned authority, or resisted the established rules of the household. The phrase often comes after a tense moment where the child challenges their parents' authority, or when the father feels it is necessary to remind the family of the order and structure of the home. The role of African fathers. African fathers, just like fathers all around the world, hold various roles within the family. They are seen as providers, protectors, and importantly, teachers. In many African cultures, fathers have a significant role in ensuring that their children grow up with a strong sense of responsibility, respect for elders, and an understanding of social norms. The "my house, my rules" speech, while seemingly strict, is part of a broader cultural expectation that fathers instill discipline, morals, and life lessons into their children. African society places a strong emphasis on respect, hard work, and responsibility, and fathers often serve as the models who embody these values. For African dads, delivering the "my house, my rules" speech is not about being tyrannical or domineering. Rather, it's about teaching the importance of accountability and the family's collective well-being. How? The cultural expectations of African fathers. In many African cultures, the concept of Ubuntu, meaning humanity towards others, underpins family relationships. Fathers are not only responsible for their own children, but also for the community's future. There is a collective sense of responsibility, and African fathers are expected to ensure that their children are prepared to contribute to society. This role is crucial, and the father's authority within the home is seen as essential for maintaining order. Furthermore, the emphasis on respect is deeply ingrained in African traditions. In many African communities, children are taught from a young age to respect their elders, including their parents, teachers, and other community leaders. The "my house, my rules" speech is often a tool used to remind children of the importance of respect and obedience, two qualities that are highly valued in most African cultures. In addition to respect, African fathers are expected to uphold a certain level of discipline. Discipline in African homes is often delivered with the understanding that it's meant to guide children toward becoming responsible adults. Unlike more permissive parenting styles that may focus on encouraging self-expression, African fathers often prioritize the idea that their children need to be taught boundaries and the consequences of their actions. The "my house, my rules" speech and its psychological impact. While the "my house, my rules" speech is meant to instill respect, discipline, and accountability, it's also worth examining the psychological effects this can have on children, particularly when it is delivered repeatedly. On the one hand, children may come to appreciate the structure it provides. The speech serves as a clear reminder of the rules and the importance of following them. It can help children understand that actions have consequences and that they must abide by family rules for the greater good. On the other hand, there is the potential for a power imbalance when the phrase is used excessively or in an overly authoritarian way. If the father consistently uses the phrase as a way of asserting dominance without fostering meaningful conversations or understanding, it can result in a strained relationship with the child. It's crucial for fathers to balance their authority with love, empathy, and open communication. Parents who rely solely on the "my house, my rules" speech without fostering mutual respect or listening to their children's perspectives may inadvertently alienate their children, making them less likely to engage in open discussions about important matters. The key to successfully using this approach lies in knowing when to assert authority and when to listen and engage in dialogue. Hatan, the changing landscape of parenting in Africa. As African societies continue to evolve, so too does the role of parenting. Modern-day African fathers are increasingly balancing the traditional expectations of authority with a more open, communicative approach to raising children. The stereotypical image of the stern, authoritarian father figure is gradually being replaced by one who is more involved in emotional support and guidance. In urban areas, where traditional values may be more fluid, African fathers are becoming more attuned to the need for positive reinforcement and the importance of nurturing their children's emotional intelligence. The "my house, my rules" speech still has its place, but it is increasingly being paired with conversations about mutual respect and understanding. Fathers are recognizing the importance of explaining the reasons behind their rules, rather than simply imposing them. Additionally, African dads are increasingly involved in the academic and extracurricular activities of their children. Rather than solely focusing on discipline, modern African fathers are also concerned with fostering their children's talents, creativity, and personal development. This reflects a broader shift in parenting styles across Africa, where the focus is shifting from rigid authoritarian control to more balanced, nurturing approaches. The "my house, my rules" speech and social media influence. The advent of social media has brought a new dynamic to the way African fathers deliver the "my house, my rules" speech. With platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, many African families are sharing their everyday experiences, including the humorous and relatable moments that involve parental discipline. The "my house, my rules" speech has become a source of humor and a topic of conversation in African households. African dads who once delivered the speech with seriousness are now finding themselves in viral videos where their authoritarian speeches are juxtaposed with funny or light-hearted moments. These moments of humor offer a new perspective on the traditional "my house, my rules" approach, showing that it's possible to maintain discipline while embracing modern parenting sensibilities. Moreover, these social media portrayals of African fathers often highlight the tender, loving side of parenting that goes beyond the authority figure. As African dads share their personal parenting stories online, they contribute to a new narrative that moves away from the solely authoritarian approach toward one that includes compassion, empathy, and active participation in their children's lives. The "my house, my rules" speech has long been a defining characteristic of African fathers and their approach to parenting. Rooted in cultural values of respect, discipline, and family structure, this phrase signifies the father's role as the head of the household and the enforcer of rules. However, as African societies evolve, so too does the way fathers engage with their children. While the authoritarian figure still has its place, the modern African dad is increasingly embracing a more balanced and communicative approach to parenting. In the digital age, social media has given African fathers the opportunity to present themselves in new ways, allowing the "my house, my rules" speech to be both a symbol of authority and a source of humor and connection. Ultimately, the speech continues to reflect the complexities of fatherhood in Africa, one that navigates the intersection of tradition, modernity, and love.